prevent future tragedies after the Mint Hill police shooting.
For me, custodial exchanges were terrifying.
This morning, the new details about a center aimed at making sure every child custody exchange is done safely.
And it all comes down to week 18.
How the Panthers are preparing for a winner-take-all matchup with their division rival. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
All right, let's get a look at that traffic here. You can see I-85. This is right near Sam Wilson as you are heading into Charlotte. No incidents on the map, just going very, very slow. I want to show you, you're only going about 10 miles per hour. All of that stop and go has you backed up for about 3 miles. So you can see all of that stop and go traffic as you are heading into the Queen City. Other than that, though, we aren't tracking any other incidents or any slowdowns, I should say. Charlotte looking really, really green around the map.
Okay, buckle your seats belts, everybody. A high of 61 is going to be hit over the next couple of hours. Then we are going to see a drop throughout the day. We also have some mist, some drizzle, some fog on and off throughout this cloudy morning. And then boom, 27 tomorrow morning, 47 for a high before we see a mix of those 50s as we head into the new year. And then eventually we're back to the upper 40s. But this is a big difference from 3 days in the upper 70s. So that was a nice treat. However, just letting you know, we are heading back to winter status in January, as January likes to do.
Just in case we needed a reminder.
Just in case so.
Yay.
It was a little confusing for a little bit, but nope, it's back.
It's winter. All right, well, thanks so much for joining us here. We hope that your Monday is off to a great start. Again, the news does not end here. We're going to be streaming live starting at 7 o'clock on WCNC Plus, so make sure you join us there.
Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. Thanks for joining us here. We're going to start things off with a check of your forecast. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy says those temperatures that we saw last week in the upper 70s are now a thing of the past.
Oh, it's really so sad because we had 3 days that were record-breaking, 3 of the warmest we've ever had in December. And yesterday was actually cooler at this time. We're up to 59 degrees and 11 degrees cooler than 7 o'clock yesterday. However, that is kind of a facade because we are actually going to warm up to the lower 60s over the next few hours before eventually we will see the big drop. So instead of typically hitting our high temperature in the middle of the afternoon, we're doing it either side of noon, and then temperatures are going to take a tumble even back down into the 30s. That's right, 30s by the end of the day. So our technical low for the day will be right around 11 o'clock leading up to midnight. And then by tomorrow morning, we're talking about the 20s returning. So right now we have some clouds, some fog, and some mist. Mainly it's just cloudy for the time being. A lot of that fog has retreated, but we will see some passing showers over the next few hours. So it will be a damp morning as that cold front's passing. Then it's going to pick the winds up and eventually drag in that winter-like temperature range. So our cold front is almost passing the area now. We're going to have some rain that's technically behind this system, and then that's dragging in some of that cooler air. And here's what it looks like in our futurecast. I think you're going to have chances for really on and off rain from now until about noon. And then the backside of this, we start to see some sunshine filter in. There's also a slight chance that we have a little bit of wintry mix that mixes in behind this system. And then throughout the afternoon, once that sunshine cracks, you're going to have the rest of the day. But at that point, you're also seeing with a lot of that gusty wind situation that's going to allow for wind chills down to the 30s by the end of the day. As for the mountains, you're actually under a special high wind warning starting at 1 o'clock today because you have a chance for wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. And then the Charlotte area, 25 to 30 with an occasional gust up to 40, not out of the realm of possibility. So our high wind warning that officially goes at 1 p.m. until 7 a.m. on Tuesday because the sustained winds at 20 to 40 and then those wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. That's going to be substantial, but that's also filtering in some of that chillier air. So check out our wind chills. 33 is how it's going to feel in Boone coming up over the next coming hours. But then once you get to about 2 o'clock, you can expect it to feel like the upper 30s around Hickory, still around 60 degrees for Charlotte. But by the end of the afternoon, what a difference. Feels like 8 around Boone, 38 around Charlotte. But then these drop to the negative values overnight and right around 20 degrees to kick off your Tuesday. That is a big shock and out of the system, especially compared to where we just were. So the temperatures we're at right now for the next few hours, that's the warmest air that I have for the foreseeable future. Tomorrow highs only in the 40s and then right around close to where we should be heading into January. Well, too bad. We had those 70s. It was nice while they lasted, but not seeing them over the next 10 days at least. Let's see how bad our traffic is looking so far with Megan Bragg. It looks pretty busy to start.
Yeah, very busy. This is I-85 near the Sam Wilson exit. We did just get an update. There was an accident that is blocking off one lane right now. So you can see emergency crews are on the scene working to find out more information about that. But it is slowing you down if you are heading from Gastonia to Charlotte this morning. So let's take a look at that. Like I said, I-85 north between Catawba River Bridge and Sam Wilson. It's going to be right in this area. You can see all of that stop and go traffic. Like I said, looks like one lane is closed right now. So you're going to be backed up for about 3 miles as you are making your way into Charlotte. So be aware of that. Just make sure to take it slow when you are driving in. Other than that, no other incidents on the map so far. Looking pretty good around the Queen City. Let's talk about if you are traveling today. Best time, worst time. Worst time to travel, noon to 8 p.m. and best time to hit the road is before 10 a.m. Guys?
Megan, thanks. 7:04 right now. Continuing coverage of breaking news. A house fire out of Gaston County, sending 2 people to the hospital. It happened a little after 6 last night on Black Snake Road, just northeast of Stanley. Firefighters tell us the home belongs to the parents of NASCAR star Denny Hamlin. Overnight, the Lucia River and Fire Department releasing these pictures showing how serious this fire really was. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards joins us now live near that scene. And Destiny, firefighters had a number of challenges fighting this thing.
That's right. Firefighters say the biggest challenge was access to water in this rural area of Gaston County. We know multiple crews from different fire departments were called in to help, making this a large, hours-long response to a single home fire. Now, in these photos, you can see just how intense this was. You can see the extent of the damage. After fire crews arrived after 6 p.m., firefighters were initially called out for a house fire with possible entrapment, but officials say those inside were able to get out of the home. 2 people were taken to the hospital, 1 for smoke inhalation. The Lucia Riverbend Fire Department says the home is a total loss, and it took nearly 2 hours to get the fire under control because of a lack of fire hydrants.
The county doesn't have water, so this is how you have to deal with it in a rural area. 10 to 12 fire departments out here tonight, mostly bringing tankers to haul water.
Now, Chief Toomey confirmed this home belongs to the parents of NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin, and public records show the property is owned by a company managed by Hamlin, but Hamlin himself has not yet commented. Now, firefighters say even though this home is a total loss, they were able to salvage racing memorabilia and collectibles from the home. We do know the fire marshal is set to be on scene again this morning to continue investigating the cause of this fire. I'll send it back to you guys live here from Gaston County.
Destiny, back to those 2 people we know that were hurt. Do we know anything else about them this morning?
Yeah, right now we just know that, again, 2 people taken to the hospital last night, 1 for smoke inhalation. However, it's important to note that Chief Toomey did not specify if these 2 people were the parents of Denny Hamlin. And we're still also waiting to learn more information, not just on that, but also their conditions this morning. Again, just 2 people taken to the hospital, 1 specifically for smoke inhalation. But good news is they were able to get out of the home.
All right, Destiny Richards, thanks for that. And this morning, we are learning the 2 officers shot Friday during a child custody exchange gone wrong are back home and on the road to recovery. That shooting happened at an edible arrangement at Mint Hill. 36-year-old Tajamal Hamlin II allegedly pulled out a gun and the shootout started. Police say the 2 officers were shot above the neck. Hamlin was shot and killed. Police haven't shared the specifics of how that shooting played out. One North Carolina senator shared with us just how dangerous these exchanges can be.
I'm a domestic violence survivor, and post-separation abuse is something that not enough people talk about. Sometimes abuse starts post-separation and divorce, but for me, custodial exchanges were terrifying. So we have to have a societal conversation about this that includes law enforcement, that includes the court system, that includes the legislature, that includes community leaders.
Friday's shooting has a lot of people talking about the potential dangers of child custody exchanges. The North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence says if you're looking for support, resources, or safety planning for child custody exchanges, there is information on their website. That link is on WCNC.com and inside the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. And we're going to hear from Mecklenburg County officials working to get the word out about safe ways to handle child custody exchanges a little later this morning right here on WCNC Plus.
This morning, we are following the latest developments in several deadly accidents that took place over the weekend. The first in Union County, where authorities are investigating a hit-and-run crash that killed 1 person. Deputies say it happened at Morgan Mill Road and Zebulon Williams Road Sunday night. There's no word on what caused the wreck. Right now, the road is back open after being closed for several hours. In South Charlotte, police have identified the victims killed in a crash Saturday night. Gloria Manley and Lauren Manley were killed in that crash on Red Rust Lane and Ardrey Kell Road. A child in the car is now in the hospital fighting critical injuries. Officers say speed was a factor in the crash, but there's no word on if charges will be filed. Another person dead after a separate South Charlotte crash. CMPD said this one happened Saturday morning on Carmel Road. Authorities say the driver of the lone vehicle involved, David O'Neill, was killed. Police say speed also likely a factor in that crash as well. Now just outside of Raleigh, a man facing charges after authorities say he robbed a bank and shot at officers.
Reporter Eric Miller heard from witnesses who say the situation left them frightened.
Amid the post-holiday rush Friday, a rush for cover. Multiple gunshots in the packed Rocky Mount Town Center parking lot sent shoppers scrambling.
It was very close and very clearly gunshots.
Witnesses tell WRAL several nearby stores were placed on lockdown, including TJ Maxx, with employees trying to hide customers in the back or in dressing rooms.
I heard a lot of screaming and running. I thought somebody was fighting, and then they said they was shooting, and they put us all in the dressing room. All the women in the room was panicking and stuff. I was just trying to think of an escape plan.
According to police, only the suspect was hurt, but at least one bullet fired by someone, it's not clear who, went wide, shattering the front door of this Murphy gas station more than a football field away from the primary scene.
I was just like an inch away from the door. I was just walking away from it, and that's when I saw the bullet.
Clerk Brianna Harrison says she was just seconds away from getting shot herself.
It's crazy.
That was Eric Miller reporting. Right now, the suspect, Willie McGee Jr., is facing multiple federal charges in this case. If convicted, he faces up to 30 years in prison.
Approaching 7-Eleven right now, a lot of folks will be headed back to the stores this week to return those Christmas gifts that maybe didn't fit quite right or you just didn't like. Before you wait in line, though, make sure you know the store's return policy. Most retailers like Amazon, Walmart, many department stores have free returns for most items along with an extended return window. However, some retailers like Marshall's and JCPenney are charging a fee for returns not made in person.
Another high-stakes meeting at Mar-a-Lago today. The latest world leaders sitting down with President Trump, and it comes as tensions overseas continue to rise, with the U.S. pushing for progress. That's up next.
Today in South Florida, President Trump holding another high-stakes meeting with a world leader as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visits Mar-a-Lago. The visit comes just a day after Ukraine's president met with the president there as the U.S. works to help broker peace between Ukraine and Russia. NBC News reporter Bofta Yiman gives us a closer look at yesterday's meeting.
After a nearly 3-hour meeting between President Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the two spoke of progress made, but still no peace plan was finalized.
We had a terrific meeting. We discussed a lot of things. As you know, I had an excellent phone call with President Putin that lasted for over 2 hours. We discussed a lot of points, and I do think we're getting a lot closer.
One of the key issues, security guarantees to help deter further attacks. which Zelensky stressed is critical for lasting peace. He called Sunday's meeting productive.
We have a great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and U.S.-Ukraine security guarantees 100% agreed. U.S.-Europe-Ukraine security guarantees almost agreed. Military dimension 100% agreed.
As for the ongoing battle over land, that still remains unresolved.
Have you agreed on the so-called free trade zone on Donbass? How to separate the sites? How to make the separation line? Who will be responsible?
The word agreed is too strong. I would say not agreed, but we're getting closer to an agreement on that.
While the president says Russia wants a deal to happen, he made it clear that Russia did not agree to a temporary ceasefire ahead of any peace deal. More bilateral talks and larger meetings are expected in January.
And we agreed that our teams will meet in upcoming weeks to finalize all discussed matters. And we agreed with President Trump that he will host us and maybe in Washington, European leaders and Ukrainian delegation.
President Trump avoided laying out a hard deadline, but indicated they'll know in a few weeks where things stand. Now, in the days since President Zelensky announced his meeting with Trump, at least 2 people have been killed and dozens hurt in attacks by Russia on Ukraine's capital. In Washington, Bofta Imam, NBC News.
Thailand and Cambodia have put down their weapons for now. The two countries announced Saturday they have reached a truce. Secretary of State Marco Rubio welcomed the news. Rubio called on both countries to fully implement a peace deal President Trump and Malaysia's Prime Minister brokered earlier this year. The two countries have been at odds for more than a century over territory that both nations claim to own. It's resulted in the deaths of hundreds in just the past few weeks. Brian Cole Jr., the man accused of planting pipe bombs near the Democratic and Republican Party headquarters in Washington, D.C., is facing new details from federal prosecutors. They say Cole disliked both political parties and believed violence was justified.
In a new filing, prosecutors argue he should remain behind bars while awaiting trial, noting he eventually admitted that he was the person seen on surveillance after first denying it to the FBI. Investigators also say his phone had been wiped hundreds of times before his arrest, and Cole has denied any connection to Congress or the January 6th proceedings.
Times Square gearing up for something it's never done before, a second ball drop to mark a major milestone. We'll explain next.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks as always for joining us on WCNC Plus. So let's live in the past a little bit because everything else I have to talk about is just cold. 79. That was the high temperature we had on Christmas Day. The record was 77 and we smashed it. But that wasn't just a warmest Christmas of all time in Charlotte history, which, by the way, Charlotte record keeping goes back 147 years, so this is substantial. It was also the second warmest of all time during the month of December, where this 80-degree temperature was within the first 10 days of December. To do it on the 25th, that's staggering. And then, oh yeah, 2 days later, we got up to 78, exceeding expectations, so another record breaker. That smashed the previous record for December 27th by 6 degrees. So 2 of these days of the 3 record breaks that we had are within the top 5 hottest December highs of all time. That is staggering. Now, where we've been, we were 77 on Christmas Eve. We forget about that one. I, by the way, was out grilling on Christmas Day. Haven't done that ever in my life, and it was awesome. But then what was really interesting was the day after Christmas, where we only had a high about 60 degrees because of what's called cold air damming. All that cool air, cloud cover, and even some mist and drizzle just sat over the area. It was perfect if you're a parent and you didn't really want to do anything the day after Christmas, so we took advantage of that. And then back up to 78 degrees, as I just mentioned, but yesterday was the same exact scenarios that we had on Friday, that cold air damming. We're so far, our high today is already warmer than it was the entirety of yesterday, up to 59. But as I've been mentioning all morning long, this is a facade. This is an illusion, because we're going to get around 60 degrees here over the next couple of hours, and then we're going to flatline around there until the front officially passes and drags in some of that cooler air. That's going to cool us down throughout the day. So usually when you start off this warm, you're like, oh boy, we're back to the 70s. Instead, we're going to drop throughout the afternoon, and then tomorrow is only going to have highs in the 40s. So going forward over the next 10 days, the big drop is really heading into tomorrow. Highs only in the 40s. And we only have one other day over the next 10, and that's going to be the 7th day of January in the new year as we return back to the upper 40s. But as far as our lows are concerned, we're going to revisit the 20s again. And put into this perspective, the highs that we had on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the 27th are going to be 50 degrees warmer than where we're going to be this coming Tuesday and Wednesday morning. But luckily, we're back above the freezing points. We will be starting off mild lows to start off 2026. But all in all, what a trend that we've just been on, but now it's really just back to normal, what you would really expect heading into January. All right, that's my weather spiel. Let's get over to traffic with Megan.
Yeah, let's take a look at traffic right now. This is I-85. As you are heading into Charlotte from Gastonia, right near Sam Wilson exit, you can see that right now there is an accident there blocking the shoulder right now. So it did move to the shoulder, but crews are still out there. That is making your commute into Charlotte a little longer. Like I said, between exit 29 Sam Wilson Road and exit 27. So we are tracking that. We're also tracking this. This is a fuel spill at Josh Brigham Parkway at Harley Avenue. So this is right near the airport. So crews are working to clean that up right now, which is causing some slowdowns you can see over there. So if you do have to go to the airport, just give yourself some extra time to know that there is going to be traffic in that area. Other than that, though, Charlotte looking pretty good, really green around the map, something that we do love to see. If you are heading out right now, worst times to travel noon to 8 p.m., but the best time to travel is right now before 10 a.m. Guys?
All right, Megan, thanks. Well, in a first, the famous New Year's Eve ball drop is going to happen twice in Times Square in 2026. The second time is going to mark the nation's 250th anniversary. It's the first time there's going to be a second ball drop since the tradition began back in 1907.
The second drop will be July 3rd, the night before Independence Day. For New Year's Eve, after the drop, the ball will be relit in red, white, and blue and an America 250 design, a preview of how it will look for the second drop. Then 2,000 pounds of patriotic confetti will be set off. The night will wrap up with a pyrotechnics display to Ray Charles's version of America the Beautiful. Beautiful.
Ooh. Gorgeous.
Right?
Why not?
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I know.
For
Are you
sure.
watching this Do you watch?
Oh, like the ball
ball
drop?
drop?
The ball drop?
This week, I don't know. It's on it was a Wednesday night. I can't guarantee I'll make it.
I know.
I like to watch like Sydney, Australia. Get it done early.
Because it's early.
Yeah, that's a good
Or when you have
one.
kids, sometimes they do them at noon rather than midnight. Perfect.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's nice.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
England is also sometimes I squeeze England in, but yeah.
Okay.
Nowadays working this shift, I rarely make it to it.
Right. We're going to be here Thursday morning, so
Yep.
probably
Yeah,
not so
yeah,
much.
All right. What are we looking at here? This is
This is I-85 right near Sam Wilson exit. We do have a crash right there. You can see that emergency crews are on the scene, and even more, I see an ambulance coming up right now. So there is the shoulder blocked off right now, but it really is backed up for about 3 miles as you're making your way into Charlotte from Gastonia.
all right. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everyone. We have a passing front that's going to bring us some on and off rain showers. So especially really from now until about 11 o'clock is our best chance for rain. And then eventually by the afternoon, we're going to be clearing things out. It's also keeping temperatures very mild to start off the day. We're going to have either side of 60 degrees over the next few hours before we eventually cool down during the afternoon. And we will see sunshine by the middle of your December 29th, just cloudy for the first half of this. And then temperatures falling pretty quickly by the end of the day, down to 50 degrees come 5 p.m., feeling like the 30s by the early evening because it's going to be a breezy one. We're going to have some on and off gusts getting up to 30 to 40. Up to 50 to 60 miles per hour heading up into the mountains. So what to know over the coming days, big drop, 47 by tomorrow, then the 50s going forward. Next chance for rain after this morning will be Friday night heading into Saturday. All right, Megan, take it away. What's going on?
Yeah, let's take a look at this. This is I-85 at that Sam Wilson exit right before there. Lots of vehicles right now slowing down because there is an accident. And because more emergency vehicles just came on, one lane is closed. You can see it right there. So just be aware as you are driving in on I-85 this morning. Like you can see all of that backup. You're back up to 3 miles.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30 on this Monday morning. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson.
We start with continued coverage this morning. We're learning the two officers shot Friday during a child custody exchange gone wrong are now back home and on the road to recovery. That shooting happened at an exchange at the Edible Arrangements in Mint Hill. 36-year-old Tejamo Hammond II allegedly pulled out a gun and the shootout started. Police say the two officers were both shot above the neck. Hammond was shot and killed. Police have not shared the specifics of how the shooting happened. And right now, Mecklenburg County officials say they want to get the word out about safe ways to do child custody exchanges after Friday's shooting.
A lot of folks don't realize there is a place to go if you're concerned about safety during what can be tense meetups. WCNC Charlotte's Vanessa Rufus has the details.
The violence that police say happened Friday during a child custody exchange in Mint Hill are haunting for many in the community. Police say a man at that meeting pulled out a gun, leading to a shootout with officers. For some,
Yes.
like State Senator Woodson Bradley, the situation feels too close to home.
Well, I'm a domestic violence survivor, and post-separation abuse is something that not enough people talk about. Sometimes abuse starts post-separation and divorce, but for me, custodial exchanges were terrifying.
Mecklenburg County officials say the potential for these types of meetings turning violent was one of the reasons they opened the county's Supervised Visitation and Safe Exchange Center in 2014. Officials say the center, located at the Valerie C. Woodard Center off of Freedom Drive near I-85 in West Charlotte, is specifically set up to maintain safety, even partnering with off-duty officers who serve as security.
One of the things that we do,
Tim Bradley is the center's program supervisor.
We don't have our parents interact with each other in any way. So they don't come in contact with each other. They come through separate entrances, and we have a way of making sure that the children safely go from one parent to the other.
He says the center serves about 75 families a month and can even be safer than doing an exchange outside the police department.
As safe as we want to feel at Charlotte-Mecklenburg police departments, there's not always an officer there at a police station during the time that exchanges can happen. And we are here at our designated times to make sure those things happen safely.
While he and his team are tackling some of the potential pitfalls in the exchange process, State Senator Bradley says there's a larger issue to discuss, so even more resources can flow for those who are at risk.
We have to have a societal conversation about this that includes law enforcement, that includes the court system, that includes the legislature, that includes community leaders.
And there's a number to call if you'd like to arrange to use that center for a custody exchange. We've got that information inside the WCNC Charlotte app. Well, in just a few hours, the former co-owner of Sycamore Brewing is expected to face a judge on child sex charges. 44-year-old Justin Brigham is accused of meeting a 13-year-old girl through a popular social media platform, then breaking into her home in Stanley County and raping her. Deputies responded to a 911 call at the home in Stanfield, where her parents reportedly caught Brigham inside their daughter's bedroom. Deputies say they found Brigham naked in a nearby vehicle.
And we continue to bring you the latest on a house fire in Gaston County. 2 people are in the hospital this morning after fire at a home where NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin's parents live. This was the scene Sunday evening on Black Snake Road. We first brought it to you live right here on WCNC Plus. There was no word on the conditions of the 2 people in the hospital, nor any confirmation that they are Hamlin's parents. According to the Lucia Riverbend Fire Department, that home is a total loss. Charlotte Fire trying to determine what caused the house to catch fire just north of Uptown. It happened Sunday afternoon on LaSalle Street, just off Beatty's Ford Road.
This is a long-standing community, a very close-knit community. So, it is my prayer and my hope that, that we will just band together and, comfort them and provide and supply, what we can, to the best of our ability as a community.
What Charlotte Fire says crews were able to get things under control in just under 15 minutes. No one was hurt.
Right now, the Johnson C. Smith community is mourning after a heavy loss this weekend. The school announced that freshman football player Lance Grant has died. The university did not share any further information about his passing.
Time now for your 2026 Winter Games IQ. You're going to take a live look at Milan, which of course is the host city for the games next year, and many fans will be focusing their attention on the mountains. Alpine skiing is a combination of adrenaline and precision.
Cheryl Preheim explains some of the different events you'll see at this year's games.
Alpine skiing is all about speed, precision, and sharp turns, racing down icy slopes while navigating gates. There are 4 main Olympic disciplines. Slalom is tight and technical. Racers zigzag through closely spaced gates, testing agility and quick reflexes. Giant slalom opens the turns a bit, blending speed with skill. Super G, short for supergiant slalom, pushes athletes faster while still requiring precise turns. And downhill, that's pure adrenaline. Skiers reach speeds over 80 miles an hour, flying over jumps and carving through turns with razor-sharp control. Each run is timed. The fastest combined score or single run, depending on the event, wins. It's a mix of raw courage, strength, and flawless technique. Alpine skiing at the Olympics isn't just racing. It's a thrilling dance between speed and control, where one slip can make the difference between gold and going home empty-handed.
Well, just letting everyone know, we're gonna get ready for a big drop in temperatures. Now, you would expect this. I kind of like the way yesterday went. Maybe not if you were sitting in the stands at Bank of America Stadium, but plain and simple, yesterday was not as beautiful as Saturday. Imagine if we went from what we had on Saturday to immediately a drop throughout the day. That would be a little bit too much of a shock and awe, but I'm happy to say things are going to be at least mild for the morning. We're going to see this band of rain move through. Now, I am gonna settle things back. I was looking like, hey, 10, 11, we might get this jazz out of here, but I think it might be more noon to 1 o'clock that we're still going to have some lingering rain chances, but most of it will be during the morning time, and then by the afternoon, all of a sudden that cloudy sky will turn to a mostly sunny one before you know it, and those winds are going to shift big time. Our futurecast is still saying, hey, don't worry about it. That rain will be cleared by 10. I'm still going to keep that window open until about noon. It's at that point that we're still hovering around our high temperatures, which is going to be in the lower 60s today. And then eventually that strong wind out of the northwest is really going to tank our temperatures. But I want to show you our current temperatures right now. We are 60 degrees right now in Gastonia, 59 in Charlotte, and 62 in Monroe. What I've been saying for one of my things on WCNC Charlotte is that you need to know this is the warmest we're going to be this morning for the foreseeable future, because today is kind of one of those backward days that we are hitting our highs early and our lows late. Typically, our lows are hit right around sunrise, and our highs are typically around 4 o'clock this time of year. Instead, it's closer to noon that we're in that 60 to 62 range. And then once you get to about midnight, that's where we're going to have our low for the day. It's about 35 degrees, but we're just going to continue to cool down. So the things that you really need to know for our weather impacts is this is the warmest that we're going to be for a while. Now, we will have high temperatures that are matching these values in the upper 50s, but we're also going to see a big drop down to the 20s and the 40s going forward too. So that's going to be a little bit of a shock and awe. As far as today goes, you're also going to have a big change in our wind chills, so our temperatures don't cool down right away, but with the pickup of winds and our temperatures cooling down throughout the afternoon, it's those wind gusts up to about 25 to 30 miles per hour, make you feel a lot chillier through the evening. And then up in the mountains, you could have negative value wind chills where you have a high wind warning with sustained winds at 20 to 40 and wind gusts up to about 45 to 60 miles per hour. Meanwhile, parts of the mountainous areas of Caldwell and over in Burke County, you're under wind advisory for that same time frame, 1 p.m. today until 7 a.m. tomorrow. So our 7-day forecast, brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Super Center, shows the day standing out from all the rest, even though temperatures falling through the afternoon. 47 tomorrow. Lows in the 20s both tomorrow morning and the last day of the year. And then 2026, here you go. For all the acquaintance we forgot, temperatures in the mid to the upper 50s, really close to where we should be in the lower to the mid 50s for a typical beginning of January. But boy, were those 70s nice. Okay, let's see if our traffic is naughty or nice with Megan Bragg.
I actually did. I'm going to talk to you about this later, but those lyrics, I didn't realize that's what they said. Anyways, I-85, as you are heading from Gastonia into the Queen City, we are still dealing with this accident over here. So traffic still very congested. One lane is closed right now. So you can see all of that traffic as you are heading into Charlotte. Like I said, lots and lots of red over here. That's going to be a northbound crash between exit 29 line, which is, like I said, Sam Wilson Road and exit 27. So lots of backup, lots of red that we are seeing there. This is another one that actually seems to just cleared a fuel spill in Josh Brigham Parkway at Harley Avenue. That's right near the airport, but you are looking green right now, so that is good. Looks like crews have gotten that cleaned up. Other than that, though, looking pretty good around the Queen City. All green. You are good to go. Guys?
Trying to eat healthier in the new year? The common food myths that could be steering you in the wrong direction. Next, right here on WCNC Plus.
.42 now approaching 7:43 to the future of food and what experts call a major breakthrough that could change how and what we eat with new environmentally friendly synthetic foods.
But as Shaquille Brewster shows us, some of it seems pretty close to the real thing.
This looks just like butter.
So I'm going to cut this.
It spreads and tastes like it.
This was made using that butter.
Exactly.
And cooks like it.
Light, airy. Again, really good.
But it's actually a butter alternative made by the company Savor in this suburban Chicago factory.
Can we look inside?
We can.
Here, they're turning carbon dioxide, methane, and water into fats and oils.
We take this kind of form of energy that we can then convert into energy that your body can use.
And they're making butter without using a single cow or acre of farmland.
It's really about sustainability and transforming the food system that we have today.
A transformation extending to the kitchen of San Francisco pastry chef Clément Gruffon, who uses Savor butter to make dairy-free chocolate bonbons.
It's one of the best sellers right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's very surprising. I was like, whoa.
It's all part of a growing trend of synthetic foods. Researchers looking to build on the popularity of plant-based alternatives. Companies now able to manufacture everything from foie gras to salmon and even cocoa. Biomedical engineering professor David Kaplan says the foods are practically indistinguishable.
These products are very safe and very nutritious. The challenge is how to scale up these processes to make these products available to the wider consumer.
And it's a trend that could cut the strain on the environment. The EPA says the agricultural sector accounts for 11% of U.S. greenhouse gas emissions. But the response hasn't been positive for all food innovations, with states like Florida and Alabama passing laws to ban so-called lab-grown meats.
What do you say to that person who sees this as frankenfood, so to speak?
No one's here to tell you what to eat. what we're doing is trying to create a new way to make the food that will be better for you, healthier for you.
At Savor, CEO Kathleen Alexander says this is the future of food.
We can make fats and oils on 1,000th the footprint of traditional agriculture.
Early steps in a food transformation that's happening one bite at a time. Shaquille Brewster, NBC News, Batavia, Illinois.
It's a question many of us ask every day. What should we do for dinner? And if you're trying to reach health goals, that answer can feel even harder. Experts say a lot of wrong food choices come from common myths that many of us still believe, like completely cutting out certain foods. However, what's most important is getting the nutrients you need.
Maybe you have it a little less often at a smaller portion, but I think all foods can fit into a plan. You may not be meeting your protein needs, your calcium needs, or other nutrient needs. Make sure you get all your nutrient needs by the food choices you're making.
And Julia Zupano, who you heard there, says another myth is that dairy foods are fattening and unhealthy. She says it is an important food group providing necessary nutrients. The key is to keep portions of dairy products controlled. And for those who can't tolerate dairy, choose alternatives. More than 60 people across at least 22 states, including the Carolinas, have gotten sick with salmonella. That outbreak is linked to raw oysters. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC says at least 20 people have been hospitalized. At last check, though, no deaths have been reported. No recall has been announced because officials say a common source of the oysters has not yet been identified. The Food and Drug Administration is also investigating.
Another food notice from health experts. Many shoppers feel good about skipping pastries and choosing all-natural granola, low-fat yogurts, or plant-based milks for breakfast. But experts say those healthy-sounding labels can hide a lot of sugar. Nutritionists warn that companies often use clever marketing to distract consumers from what's really inside. Added sugars are linked to serious health risks, and the average American now consumes far more than recommended. Check nutrition labels closely and choose plain versions of the foods so you can control how much sugar you actually add yourself. And experts say the goal isn't just cutting sugar, but reducing how dependent we are on overly sweet foods in general. 7:47 right now. The penny's gone, and now another old school payment method could be on the chopping block as well. What it means for your money.
Good morning, everybody. So we are dealing with some clouds right now. A little bit of rain is now actively starting to move in. High temperature is going to be right around the lower 60s heading into the afternoon. But plain and simple, the bottom line today is going to be a breezy and blustery day. So those winds eventually going to shift out of the northwest. We're going to have some on and off gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. That is going to be substantial, and that's going to make us feel quite wind chilly as we work our way through the day. So I want to get right to that. First off, I mentioned this before. I didn't show you the graphic, that the high country is under a high wind warning starting officially at 1 p.m. until about 7 a.m. this Tuesday. And then beyond that, we will start to simmer the winds down through the middle of the week. All right, so our wind chills, 14 degrees. This is 2 p.m. So going forward, we're still going to feel like the upper 50s to lower 60s around the Charlotte area to begin the early afternoon. So once lunch is done, that's where we are going to be serving up some extra chilly air. Already feeling like the upper 30s north of the I-40 corridor. And then eventually we have the mid to the upper 30s, and then it feels even chillier after that. So by about 6 p.m., already feeling like the 30s. So that's going to be a cold wind. And then either side of 10 degrees up in the mountains. And then we'll feel as cold as -3 to -5 overnight for you, the higher you go up. And then right around 20 to the lower 20s for our bottom wind chills for your Tuesday morning. At that point, the winds are starting to calm down a little bit. But check out where our lows are trending. We have the mid to the upper 20s to begin your Tuesday morning, 16 degrees for a low around Boone. And then Wednesday looks to be the chilliest, and Wednesday is also New Year's Eve. So the last morning of 2025 is definitely going to be a cold one. And then 31 degrees, so a near freezing start for day one of 2026. And going forward, any other rain chances that we have, really not going to see anything outside of this morning until Friday night to Saturday. And after that, pretty weak sauce chances to conclude the weekend. But going forward, it is definitely going to be a cooler forecast than what we've been dealing with in recent days. We had 3 days that were either 77, 78, or 79 for Christmas Eve, Christmas, and the 27th. Now, we're going to flip it down into the 40s for the coldest day of the week. That's Tuesday. The lower 50s, which, by the way, 52 as we begin the new year, will be our new average high for the entirety of January. The peak back to the upper 50s before we see that front that will cool things down a little bit more January-like, just in time for us to transition over to January. But boy, were those 70s nice. We will miss you. Most likely coming back at some point into February or March, unless we have some other records trend. Let's get over to Megan, who's had an on and off problems in the traffic department throughout this morning.
Yeah, we've been watching this since about 6:45 this morning. A crash on I-85 right near Sam Wilson. One lane is still blocked, as you can see. Traffic moving pretty slowly in that area. Let's take a look at your map right there. You can see all that red. That means stop and go traffic. That's backed up for about 3 miles. Like I said, crash between exit 29, which is Sam Wilson Road, and exit 27. We are also just seeing some slowdowns a little bit near I-77 as you head down towards South Carolina. Let's take a look at that right now. This is right near that Uptown exit, so you can see near Remont Road where traffic is starting to slow down there. Now, I'm not getting any incidents on the map, just lots and lots of traffic as you are heading down on I-77. But let's take a look at your morning commute times right now. Gastonia, it's taking you about 52 minutes to get into the Queen City. Matthews, 20 minutes, and Belmont, 44 minutes. Guys?
Megan, thanks. The U.S. penny isn't the only thing disappearing. Now, the paper check may be next. The Federal Reserve says it's exploring whether to wind down its check processing services as more Americans switch to digital payments.
Check use has dropped sharply in recent years, and major agencies like Social Security have already moved entirely to direct deposit and debit cards. But experts warn that eliminating checks too quickly could hurt people who still rely on them, especially seniors and those without easy access to technology. Some banking leaders say any transition needs to be slow and inclusive. For now, paper checks aren't gone, but the writing may be on the wall. Those days are coming.
I remember I used to write checks like all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, when was the last time I wrote a check? I honestly don't remember.
For my rent, when I was a renter, I was writing checks.
Yeah.
I feel like we wrote a check recently for something like in the last year, but I don't remember what it was for.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, don't do much.
I know I don't do it. I remember being at the grocery store though, and my mom always writing checks.
Yes.
Like, it was the thing.
And then
to
balancing the
do.
checkbook.
Yes,
Balancing the checkbook and getting a fancy checkbook.
Uh-huh.
If you look closely, they still have those things that you pull out at the grocery store.
Oh,
to
to
write
write
down.
on
Really?
it. Yeah.
I only know that. I didn't notice it until JT started playing with it. I was like, what is that? What is this device? Oh, yeah.
All right, live pictures right now over downtown Monroe as you start your Monday. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everybody. We are going to see some big changes as we work our way through the week, as you can see there on the 7-day, but 61 degrees. That's our current temperature, and we are expected to hang out in that range really over the next several hours. And that cloud cover is going to be intermittent, but then we're also going to add some rain to the equation. So our high temperature is likely already met. We're going to be either side of 60 degrees over the next few hours. Once you get to about noon, that's going to be the transition, starting to filter in some of that cooler air, and then by the end of the day, right before midnight, that's where we hit our low. So kind of a backwards day, but I gotta let you know, cold air is coming. 27 degrees is going to be our low by tomorrow, and then 24 for the last day of 2025. So that Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, that big blue arrow means that through the afternoon, temperatures are getting colder, leading to our coldest day of the week. Then we mix through the 50s the rest of the week for the first days of 2026. All right, Megan, what do we need to know about your morning commute?
Hey, some good news right now. This has cleared on I-85, so traffic is going pretty well. You can see that it is moving right along. We had that accident, but that is cleared. You're going to still have some stop and go traffic, though, as you go along on I-85 right near exit 29, which is Sam Wilson Boulevard. Other than that, we are looking pretty good around the Queen City.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start this hour with a check on your forecast. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy has the WCNC weather impact forecast.
Thanks a lot, Lisa. Well, right now we're dealing with some clouds, a little bit of that fog, not as bad as it once was, and a little bit of mist. But if you look really closely, you can really see these clouds cruising. That shows how quickly this frontal boundary is going to push through. And the new is that front is actively passing right now. It's passing through our area, and that eventually is going to drag that winter-like weather to end December and begin January. And here it is. We have that cold air damming. That is now retreated. We're on the warmer side of this, but it's on the back end that we're going to see some of that rain. But since we have that strong push out of the southwest, where temperatures are right now, and likely we're going to hit our high temperature really close to about 10 o'clock to noon, behind that is that much cooler air that eventually is going to cool us down hour by hour. Futurecast has a lot of the rain done by 10. I think that we can keep it around in the forecast, mist and drizzle around until about noon. Now, most of us just dealing with a cloudy to a mostly cloudy sky, and then eventually by the afternoon, seeing lots and lots of sunshine. But it's that wind out of the northwest that really is going to be pulling in some of that cooler air. And this is not going to be a weak wind whatsoever. It's going to be the noticeable feature of the day. Sometimes it's breezy, sometimes it's just plain windy, and we're definitely in that windy range today with wind gusts at 20 to 30 miles per hour. But as you're seeing some values around 1 o'clock, 39 miles per hour, 36 miles per hour. I think realistically, wind gusts are going to be as high as 40 miles per hour on and off across the Charlotte area, but 50 plus to 60 plus up in the high country. That's why we have a designated high wind warning for you up in Watauga, Avery, and Ashe County. That goes from 1 o'clock today until 7 a.m. tomorrow. And a wind advisory for the mountainous areas of Caldwell and Burke County. Sustained winds at 20 to 40 is substantial, but whenever you have wind gusts that are above 58 miles per hour or greater, that's where you're going to have an upgrade from a wind advisory to a high wind warning. But as those winds of change filter in, boy, you're going to feel a difference. This is the graphic I've been showing every half hour on WCNC Charlotte and here on WCNC Plus that really tells a tale. Either side of 60 degrees is our real feel going into the early afternoon, but already by 2 o'clock, we're feeling like the upper 30s to the teens from the foothills to the mountains. Then by the end of the afternoon to begin the evening, we're feeling like the 30s to even the single digits up in the high country, and then all of us feeling like the 20s to near zero up in the high country. So our current temperatures right around 60 degrees. This is technically the warmest air that we're going to have for the foreseeable future for both our morning temperatures and just our high temperatures in general, because by tomorrow, highs only in the 40s, lows starting off at 27, mid-20s for a chilly start to your Wednesday and the last morning of 2025, and then to begin the new year, mid to the upper 50s, eventually falling behind our first rain chance of 2026. That's Friday, heading into Saturday. Really, this is just a reset back to where we should be. It just is a little bit more harsh since we'd had to have 3 days in the upper 70s. But hey, you know what? Back to normal. Still, at least we have some sunny days, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All right, that wraps up the weather story. Let's see how traffic's looking.
Well, you're going super light speed right now. That's what our camera shows. This is not a real depiction of what's going on. So let me just change that. But what I was trying to show you is there's heavy traffic as you are making your way down I-77 right near Remont Road. So just know that there is heavy traffic as you are heading down on I-77 towards South Carolina. Good news here. This has cleared. That's why I put this little clear check mark there. I-85 northbound. There was a crash there this morning between exit 29 Sam Wilson Road and exit 27. Of course, it just has some backup from that. People's trying to get going, as you would say. And other than that, though, we're really looking good in Charlotte. All green. We've seen a lot of green this morning, something we love to see, guys.
Megan, thanks. Continuing coverage right now of breaking news. A house fire in Gaston County sent 2 people to the hospital. Take a look. It happened a little after 6 last night on Black Snake Road. That's just northeast of Stanley. Firefighters tell us the home belongs to the parents of NASCAR star Denny Hamlin. Overnight, the Lucia Riverbend Fire Department releasing these pictures, giving us a look of just how serious this house fire really was. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live near that scene with the very latest. And Destiny, firefighters had a number of challenges there on scene.
That's right. Firefighters say the biggest challenge was access to water in this rural area of Gaston County. Now, we know multiple crews from different fire departments were called in to help, making this a long large hours-long response to a single home fire. Now, these photos really show the extent of the damage after fire crews arrived after 6 p.m. last night. Firefighters were initially called out for a house fire with possible entrapment, but officials say those inside were able to get out of the home. 2 people were taken to the hospital, one for smoke inhalation. The Lucia Riverbend Fire Department says the home is a total loss, and it took nearly 2 hours to get the fire under control because of a lack of fire hydrants.
The county doesn't have water, so this is how you have to deal with it in a rural area. 10 to 12 fire departments out here tonight, mostly bringing tankers to haul water.
Chief Toomey confirmed this home belongs to the parents of NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin, and public records show the property is owned by a company managed by Hamlin. Hamlin himself has not yet commented. Now, firefighters say while the home is a total loss, they were able to save old cars, racing memorabilia, and collectibles. Again, the fire's cause is under investigation, and we know the fire marshal is expected to continue that investigation this morning. I'll send it back to you guys live here from Gaston County.
And so, Dustin, we know that there is no confirmation that the 2 people are Hamlin's parents. Do we know anything else about these victims?
That's right. No confirmation on the identities of the 2 people who went to the hospital. All we know, again, is that they went to the hospital, one for smoke inhalation, and they were able to get out of the home when fire crews arrived on scene. So that is definitely good news there.
All right, Destiny Richards reporting live. Thank you, Destiny. This morning, we are learning the 2 officers shot Friday during a child custody exchange gone wrong are back home and on the road to recovery. That shooting happened at Inedible Arrangements in Mint Hill. 36-year-old Jamel Hamlin II allegedly pulled out a gun and a shootout started. Police say the 2 officers were both shot above the neck. Hamlin was shot and killed during the incident. Police have not shared the specifics of that shooting. One North Carolina senator shared with us just how dangerous these exchanges can be.
I'm a domestic violence survivor, and post-separation abuse is something that not enough people talk about. Sometimes abuse starts post-separation and divorce, but for me, custodial exchanges were terrifying. So we have to have a societal conversation about this that includes law enforcement, that includes the court system, that includes the legislature, that includes community leaders.
Friday's shooting has a lot of people talking about the potential dangers of child custody exchanges. The North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence says if you are looking for support, resources, or safety planning for child custody exchanges, there is information on their website. We have a link on WCNC.com and inside the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. And ahead in the next half hour, we're going to hear from Mecklenburg County officials working to get the word out about safe ways to handle child custody exchanges.
This morning, we are following the latest developments in several deadly accidents that took place over the weekend. The first in Union County, where authorities are investigating a hit-and-run crash that killed 1 person. Deputies say it happened on Morgan Mill Road and Zebulon Williams Road Sunday night. No word on what caused the wreck. Right now, that road is back open after being closed for several hours. In South Charlotte, police have identified the victims killed in a crash Saturday night. Gloria Manley and Lori Manley were killed in that crash on Red Rust Lane and Ardrey Kell Road. A child in the car is in the hospital fighting critical injuries. Officers say speed was a factor in the crash, but there's no word on if any charges will be filed. 8:09 right now, just outside of Raleigh, a man is facing charges after authorities say he robbed a bank and shot at officers.
Reporter Eric Miller heard from witnesses who say that situation left them frightened.
Amid the post-holiday rush Friday, a rush for cover. Multiple gunshots in the packed Rocky Mount Town Center parking lot sent shoppers scrambling.
It was very close and very clearly gunshots.
Witnesses tell WRAL several nearby stores were placed on lockdown, including TJ Maxx, with employees trying to hide customers in the back or in dressing rooms.
I heard a lot of screaming and running. I thought somebody was fighting, and then they said they were shooting. They put us all in the dressing room. All the women in the room was panicking and stuff. I was just trying to think of the escape plan.
According to police, only the suspect was hurt, but at least one bullet fired by someone, it's not clear who, went wide, shattering the front door of this Murphy gas station more than a football field away from the primary scene.
I was just like an inch away from the door. I was just walking away from it, and that's when I saw the bullet.
Clerk Brianna Harrison says she was just seconds away from getting shot herself.
It's crazy.
Eric Miller with that report. Right now, the suspect, Willie McGee Jr., is facing multiple federal charges in this case. If convicted, he faces up to 30 years in prison.
A lot of folks will be headed back to the stores this week to return those Christmas gifts that maybe you didn't like or didn't quite fit right. Before you wait in line, make sure you know the store's return policy. Most retailers, such as Amazon, Walmart, and many department stores, have free returns for most items along with extended return windows. But some retailers like Marshall's and JCPenney are charging a fee for returns not made in person. 8:11 right now. Before we had a break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey, our team tests tons of products. We only bring you the best, and you need these in an emergency. You will not regret it. These are Cato emergency radios, and they do so much more than that. Yes, they get AM and FM and shortwave and longwave, and importantly, the weather channels for those emergency instructions when there's a monsoon or a hurricane or a tornado outside your house and the power goes out. But let me show you some of the other features too. First of all, you can charge it with all these different ports, and you can also tell it, hey, I wanted to take a charge, or you can charge your phones. You can charge your devices when everything else is going out. You can also charge this when the power is out with solar right over there, or I want to show you this. Yes, you can hand crank charge this, and I can actually see the green light going on, and you can see it lighting up. It's charging. It also has a flashlight right over here, and many other features as well. This is the Voyager Pro KA600. This is the Voyager Max KA900, tougher construction, dual stereo speakers, plays audio from a micro SD card or anything you plug in. You also get a digital tuner with a calendar, clock, alarm, and sleep timer. This is one of those purchases you need to make now, so when emergencies strike, you are prepared. And we have a deal for you today on this too. Both of these radios, 20% off, starting at just $75.99. You can't afford not to get it. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
Week 14 now, a key figure in North Carolina's history. Hundreds of people gathered for the funeral of former Governor Jim Hunt. Liz McLaughlin was in Wilson for the service and shares more on Hunt's impact and legacy.
Cars pulled in steadily throughout the afternoon in Wilson as a crowd gathered to honor former Governor Jim Hunt. Police stood watch outside as friends, family, and community members gathered to say goodbye. Hunt served 4 terms, 16 years total, becoming the longest serving governor in North Carolina history.
With Governor Hunt, it was an overarching theme of opportunities for better education, a good education, quality education, opportunity for safe schools, for safe neighborhoods, opportunity for better jobs, higher pay, higher quality of life, opportunity to bring in better companies to replace manufacturing and textiles and move into the 21st century economy.
That focus helped guide North Carolina through decades of change and earned the Democratic governor respect across party lines.
And he was an institution. He was the giant of North Carolina politics. And he made a difference.
Governor Pat McCrory sharing his respects last week, as well as Governor Roy Cooper, who reminded us Hunt's legacy wasn't just policy, it was personal.
I considered him a mentor, and he cared deeply about early childhood education, about our public schools, about economic development. He cared about the issues that made the biggest difference in people's lives.
The public can share messages in a book of condolences at the state capitol through January 2nd.
Liz McLaughlin with that report. Today marks the birthday of Raleigh-born Andrew Johnson, the 17th President of the United States. Born on December 29, 1808, he would be 217 years old today.
Johnson served as Abraham Lincoln's vice president and became president in 1865 after Lincoln was assassinated. His presidency defined by bitter clashes with Congress during Reconstruction, ultimately making him the first U.S. president ever impeached. He survived removal from office by just 1 vote, leaving behind a legacy that remains widely debated. Johnson's rise from a Raleigh tailor's apprentice to the White House is still one of the most unlikely political journeys in American history. Today in history also marks 1 year since the passing of 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, the Georgia native remembered for his humility, humanitarian work, and decades of public service. From global peace efforts to his hands-on work with Habitat for Humanity, Carter became a symbol of service and compassion. Communities across the country reflecting on his legacy today, honoring a life dedicated to helping others. His influence continues to shape conversations about leadership, empathy, and what it means to serve.
Time is running out, literally. The National Day reminding you to finish what you started. That's next.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you, as always, joining us here on WCNC Plus. So I want to live in the past a little bit. 80 degrees is the warmest that we've ever been during the month of December. We've only hit 80 degrees once. We've actually only hit 79 twice. One was back in 1931. Who remembers that? Glorious day, right? Well, December 25th and December 27th, what we just recently had of 79, 78, weren't just record-breaking days for those days in climatology. Those are also the second and the fourth warmest highs in all time for the Charlotte area during December. So kind of a crazy warm-up of how historically warm it was. 77 was the record back on December 25th, and the record of 72 was smashed by 2025. And we forget about Christmas Eve that also hit a whopping 77 degrees as well. But with all that warmer air, this officially now moves us up to the 7th warmest year on record, since we're about to wrap that up. And that's record keeping that dates back all the way back to 1878. And the average temperature that we have for 2025, 63.1 degrees. Now, we're right on the cusp. We're tied right now with 2017 that also had the same average temperature that's averaging all the highs and lows across 365 days. Now, of course, we still have 3 more days to go, so there's a slight chance that we move back maybe by a decimal point to the 8th spot, but regardless, it's going to be a top 10 finish yet again. Last year was the number 1. 2024 was the warmest year on record in Charlotte history. Today's high is 61 degrees. Guess what our high temperature, our current temperature right now is? 61 degrees. So where temperatures are right now, they're not really going to move too much going forward. We're going to hover right around that 60-degree point. As you can see here in the background, clouds are moving pretty quickly, and that's the way it's going to look much of this morning. Once you get to the afternoon, we're starting to erode that cloud cover. It gets brighter, and it's certainly going to be windy as well. Seeing some of those wind gusts that are getting up to about 30 miles per hour on and off throughout the day. So not the most picturesque beginning. So I am calling for on and off rain showers to start off the day. For that rain shower is going to give up to the light of that sunshine by the afternoon, and then the temperatures are going to drop big time. Temperatures rebounding back into the low to the mid 50s after the coldest day. That's tomorrow. At least we have that sunshine with highs only in the 40s. But all in all, this is just a reset back to where we should be heading into January. So those 70s are now going to be a thing of the past. Maybe they'll revisit us some point this winter, but not in the near term. All right, let's see what's happening right now in the now with our morning traffic. Megan, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. In the now, we are looking at I-77 right near the Uptown exit. You can see traffic moving right along. We did see some red there just a second ago, but now it's all green, so that's even better for you guys. We are looking at this as well. This is cleared. However, there is some backups still. I-85 northbound crash that was around 6:30, but it lasted until 8 o'clock. So looking pretty good right now. Like I said, clear, just a little bit of slowdown. Overall, though, Charlotte looking really, really good this morning. Lots of green on the map, something we love to see. If you are going to be traveling back home, or if you have plans to head out for the new year, worst times to travel is noon to 8 o'clock, and before 10 a.m. is the best time to travel.
8:23 right now. Today is National TikTok Day, and we're not talking about the app. Today is the day all about reminding us to take care of any unfinished business before the year ends.
That's right. Whether it's scheduling that appointment that you've been putting off, using flexible spending dollars, or finally tackling something that's lingering on your to-do list, the clock is officially ticking. It's also a good moment to check in on your personal goals that you wanted to finish this year. Big or small, today is about wrapping things up while there is still time.
When you said that, I thought you meant like TikTok, like the app.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
It's coming. One of these days, I'm going to be with something.
Like, dang.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like, if you've waited to this point to do something, then
There is one appointment that I have not scheduled that I'd like to, probably need to, but we'll see.
I say if this is just push it over.
You think?
Yeah, like TikTok Day, maybe there's some things, like maybe the planning for next year, but
Yeah.
maybe make a list of the things that you need to do next year. Because this is the time.
No, this is and I just feel like too, this is a time to relax.
agree.
Don't
Right?
stress.
I do
don't
think,
need
yes.
to-
Take the pressure off.
Exactly.
Right.
Just relax. You're
Resolve to do it next year.
That's right. All right, live pictures right now over downtown Monroe as you get your Monday started. Last Monday of the year. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Can you believe it? Tick tock, the year is almost done and a front is actively passing right now. So temperatures right around 60 degrees. This is the warmest it's going to be all day long. Luckily, we don't cool down right away, but we are seeing some active rain that's starting to move back in. So our futurecast is depicting that we'll have some on and off light rain, some patches of drizzle leading up to about noon. By the early afternoon, we're getting this out of here and then we'll eventually see the sunshine come out, becoming much, much brighter. Some of us already seeing some spots of blue sky. Not here in Rock Hill, you see in the background. High temperatures pretty much where we're at right now. And then once you get to about the middle of the afternoon, mostly sunny skies, temperatures in the 50s, and then boom, the 40s is going to be taking over before you know it. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 70 forecast. See that big blue arrow showing the cool down. We start off tomorrow at 27 with highs shy of 50 degrees. At least it's sunny. And then back to those 50s you expect during January. All right, Megan, what's going on this morning?
All right, let's take a look at I-77 right near that Uptown exit. Uptown looking beautiful as always. Traffic moving pretty smoothly. Want to show you that area right now on I-77 green, which is good. This accident that we were tracking earlier, also green there. So as you are heading on I-85 towards the Queen City from Gastonia, you're looking pretty good right now.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson.
We start with continued coverage now. We're learning the two officers shot Friday during a child custody exchange gone wrong are now back home and on the road to recovery. That shooting happened at an exchange at the Edible Arrangements in Mint Hill. 36-year-old Tajamal Hamlin II allegedly pulled out a gun and a shootout started. Police say the officers were both shot above the neck. Hamlin was shot and killed. Police have not shared the specifics of how that shooting played out. And right now, Mecklenburg County officials say they want to get the word out about safe ways to do child custody exchanges following Friday's shooting.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't realize there is a place to go if you're concerned about safety during what can be these tense meetups. WCNC Shroud's Vanessa Rufus has the details.
The violence that police say happened Friday during a child custody exchange in Mint Hill are haunting for many in the community. Police say a man at that meeting pulled out a gun, leading to a shootout with officers. For some,
yes,
like State Senator Woodson Bradley, the situation feels too close to home.
Well, I'm a domestic violence survivor, and post-separation abuse is something that not enough people talk about. Sometimes abuse starts post-separation and divorce. But for me, custodial exchanges were terrifying.
Mecklenburg County officials say the potential for these types of meetings turning violent was one of the reasons they opened the county's Supervised Visitation and Safe Exchange Center in 2014. Officials say the center, located at the Valerie C. Woodard Center off of Freedom Drive near I-85 in West Charlotte, is specifically set up to maintain safety, even partnering with off-duty officers who serve as security.
One of the things that we do,
Tim Bradley is the center's program supervisor.
we don't have our parents interact with each other in any way. So they don't come in contact with each other. They come through separate entrances, and we have a way of making sure that the children safely go from one parent to the other.
He says the center serves about 75 families a month and can even be safer than doing an exchange outside the police department.
As safe as we want to feel at Charlotte-Mecklenburg police departments, there's not always an officer there at a police station during the time that exchanges can happen. And we are here at our designated times to make sure those things happen safely.
While he and his team are tackling some of the potential pitfalls in the exchange process, State Senator Bradley says there's a larger issue to discuss, so even more resources can flow for those who are at risk.
We have to have a societal conversation about this that includes law enforcement, that includes the court system, that includes the legislature, that includes community leaders.
And folks, there's a number to call if you'd like to arrange to use that center for a custody exchange. We have that information right now inside the WCNC Charlotte mobile app. Well, in just a few hours, the former co-owner of Sycamore Brewing is expected to face a judge on child sex charges. 44-year-old Justin Brigham is accused of meeting a 13-year-old girl through a popular social media platform, then breaking into her home in Stanley County and raping her. Deputies responded to a 911 call at the home in Stanfield, where her parents reportedly caught him inside their daughter's bedroom. Deputies say they found Brigham naked in a nearby vehicle.
We continue to bring you the latest on a house fire in Gaston County. 2 people are in the hospital this morning after fire at a home where NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin's parents live. This was the scene Sunday evening on Black Snake Road. We first brought you this live right here on WCNC+. There's no word on the conditions of the 2 people who are in the hospital, nor any confirmation that they are Hamlin's parents. According to the Lucia Riverbend Fire Department, the home is a total loss. Charlotte Fire trying to determine what caused the house to catch fire just north of Uptown. It happened Sunday afternoon on LaSalle Street, just off Beatty's Ford Road.
This is a long-standing community, a very close-knit community. So, you know, it is my prayer and my hope that, you know, that we will just band together and, you know, comfort them and provide and supply, you know, what we can, you know, to the best of our ability as a community.
Charlotte Fire says crews were able to get things under control in under 15 minutes. No one was hurt.
Right now, the Johnson C. Smith community is mourning a heavy loss from this weekend. School announced that freshman football player Lance Grant has died. The university did not share any more information about his passing.
Well, good morning, everybody. So the now, new, and next. Right now, we're dealing with some clouds. Fog is almost done, but also some mist and now some active rain that's starting to move back in the area. And it's all because of that cold front that's passing, and it's soon going to feel a lot more winter-like. Actually, right now, it's really not too bad. I'm really liking where temperatures are settling out right now. It's nice that we're starting off actually in the 60s. Now, typically, if you didn't have a cold front arriving, this could be another record-breaking day if we didn't have that chillier air that's already starting to move in, where you can see 42 degrees in Boone, 44 in Jefferson. That already shows you that that cooler air out of the northwest is already starting to filter on in, and that's going to create some chilly wind chills throughout the day, where our wind chills right now up in the mountains, they're feeling it. It's 33 degrees around Boone, 59 in Lincolnton, and then no wind chill to worry about whenever you have the lower 60s, but that is about to change. Check it out. Our wind chill comparison for the mountains and the Charlotte area going forward by 6 o'clock, it's feeling like 41. Meanwhile, up in Blowing Rock, it'll feel more like 10 degrees at that point. So that means our wind chills are going to be heading in a bad direction for us, where many of us, as we wake up tomorrow morning, are going to be feeling like 0 to 5 below up in the mountains, the teens for the foothills such as Morganton, and anywhere from about 20 to 25 across the Charlotte area. So really big difference there. So our temperature is definitely on the cooler side overall, and it's all because of this cold front that's to the northwest. So this cold front actively now starting to bring in some rain, and this rain is very, very light and slight. So I think it's a lot of that mist and drizzle that's going to be filtering in. It's not going to be as misty as what we had yesterday, but behind this you can see a lot of that drier air that's already starting to work in. And speaking of that drier air, boy, are you going to notice a difference as far as how it feels. Feeling more like the static, cling, dry skin type of environment for your Tuesday and Wednesday before things start to rebound ever so slightly. So here's what it looks like for that rain. Trying to get out of here. We're going to see some on and off showers really starting now until about 11 to noon. By noon to 2, that's where we're really starting to clear out the clouds, but we're really going to see a big reduction as far as our temperatures are concerned. Where I've been showing you this graphic all morning long that really tells the tale. Our high temperature is pretty much where we're at right now. We're going to be around that 60-degree point for the rest of this morning into the early afternoon, and then hour by hour through the afternoon, we're going to be chilling down, and then eventually by the evening, we're going to hit our low for the day. Typically, we hit our low right around this time or about an hour in the past. Usually it's closer to when the sun is rising up. And then by tomorrow, we have a high of 47 degrees. That is going to be the coldest that we have over the next 7 by day 10. And I'll expand this out for you past our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. We will return to the upper 40s. As far as our rain chance is concerned, we have it this morning, ending by the afternoon, then another round Friday night into Saturday, and then the last round on that 10-day forecast will be Tuesday heading into Wednesday. So this brings us into the new year where you officially start off 2026 on Thursday, temperatures in the mid to the upper 50s. All in all, this does average out to what you would expect for this time of year. You usually average a high of 52 and a low of 32 for the first weeks of January and of the new year. That's exactly where we're going to be. So sadly, those 70s are a distant memory, and even the 60s that we have this morning, not in sight over the next 10. But hey, it was still a nice little run while we had it. Let's see how traffic is running this morning, though, with Megan Bragg.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. This is I-77 right near Gilead Road, that exit as you are heading up towards Huntersville. You can see traffic is actually moving just a little slowly, and you can also see those wet roads over there as well. So let's take a look at that. Traffic, you're only going about 37 miles per hour as you're heading up towards Huntersville from the Queen City. So you can see lots of stop and go traffic around there. No incidents that I'm seeing as of yet, but something might pop up on the screen. We do have this accident at Brookshire Boulevard, crash between Caldwell Williams Road and Bellhaven Road. Looking like it is okay, though. Lots of green still, so that is something that is good news for now. Overall, though, looking pretty good around the Queen City. Lots and lots of green, something we like to see. 485 looking great this morning. That's been all clear so far. Let's take a look at South Carolina cameras, though. Looking pretty good as well. Traffic moving pretty smoothly on I-77 around South Carolina. Guys?
Megan, thanks. 8:39 now. A brutal stretch of winter weather is hammering parts of the country, from heavy snow to major travel problems. See how it's impacting millions next.
Approaching 8:43 right now on WCNC Plus, and authorities in Mexico have reported at least 13 people are killed, 98 injured after a train derailed Sunday. The Mexican Navy say the interoceanic train was carrying 9 crew members and a total of 241 passengers when it crashed. Mexico's president said at least 5 of those injured are in critical condition. Mexico's Attorney General's office has opened an investigation into the derailment. The train was inaugurated back in 2023 to help modernize and connect Mexico's Pacific port of Salina Cruz with the Gulf Coast.
New Yorkers and tourists alike have shared the experience of swiping a Metro card for almost 3 decades. Now, January 1st will be the end of the line for the blue and yellow card. The Metropolitan Transit Authority will no longer sell Metro cards. Riders will have to switch to a contactless system called Omni. That's short for One Metro New York. The new system replaces swipe for taps of your smartphones or your smartwatches, credit cards, or Omni cards. Riders will also be able to purchase Omni cards for $1. MTA says the change will save the agency $20 million a year.
For those traveling by car for this holiday, you're ending 2025 with luck at the gas pump because prices are continuing to drop according to AAA. The national gas price average now $2.83, down 30 cents from a week ago. The average here in North Carolina, $2.65, and in South Carolina, $2.48. Meteorologists say a cold front that's sweeping across the East Coast is clashing with unseasonably warm air. The result, a string of brutal winter storms.
Today, they are pummeling much of the Northeast. Amy Colley reports on how it's impacting travel.
This is kind of the last hurrah for folks that haven't left already to return home.
Many post-holiday travelers face weather delays and dangers today. Storms spawning along a cold front are affecting tens of millions of people. Much of the Northeast is dealing with severe snow and ice storms.
The ice is our main concern. I know temps are supposed to warm up. Ground temps are still cold.
In the Midwest today, forecasters warn blizzards are the concern. They say snow could meet winds up to 60 miles per hour in some areas. The FAA says Chicago O'Hare Airport had a ground stop yesterday. Oh, shoot! Utilities report more than 100,000 recent power outages in the region. In Iowa,
14 vehicle crash just ahead of my vehicle that's being cleaned up now. Zero visibility.
Some communities, like this one in Illinois, are recovering from tornado damage. Meanwhile, FlightAware reports about 10,000 U.S. flight delays and 800 cancellations yesterday. That follows another rough day for some passengers Saturday.
I just want to make it home to my own bed tonight.
Going with the flow, wherever the wind takes me.
In places across the country, the upside of the winter weather is the joy it's bringing children on holiday breaks.
We're trying to find a good area to do a snowball fight.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Meanwhile, that cold front is pushing through our area, bringing us some rain, and boy, is that going to change up our forecast. We're going to talk about what this front does to the north, to the south, and what you can expect as we end 2025 and head into 2026. We'll see you soon. Yes, we are about to get cooler, but sometimes the weather story is about perspective, because we could be up here where the lake effect snow machine is in high gear, where a strong low pressure system interacting with some of that warmer air, as we just mentioned, is going to dump a lot of snow, especially here in the Appalachian Trail through West Virginia. But some of these totals representing up to a foot of snow around the Cleveland area over to Buffalo. Wow. 'Tis the season, though, especially this time of year as we go into January. But all that snow is going to stay well north of us, and it's all because of this. Oftentimes around a low-pressure system where it rotates in a counterclockwise fashion, it's bringing snow in general from around the low, but it also transports winds across the lakes called fetch that lead to lake effect snow. So thank your lucky stars that we are not dealing with any big transition over to a snowy forecast. It just gets a lot colder, especially compared to where we have been. Our surface map right now showing a lot of the rain is starting to take a big step back. As far as that cold front goes, it is now starting to chill things down. It is now producing a wind chill around that freezing point for you in the mountains, and it's not until later on this afternoon that we're really going to notice a big difference as far as those winds are concerned, because a strong wind out of the southwest when you have temperatures in the lower 60s, that doesn't feel too bad, where our high temperature for the day is going to be hit in the first part of this morning into the early afternoon, for eventually we're going to see that shift. Now you're going to see a change of these arrows here for our future cast, but regardless, we're going to have on and off rain chances until about noon. By about 2 o'clock, that's why I think we're seeing a sizable difference as far as the cloud cover really starting to take a big step back. But you can see those chillier winds coming from the northwest. That's what's going to cool us down steadily as we work our way through the afternoon, and you're going to notice a big difference. So I've been talking about wind chills all morning long. I want to show you exactly what it's going to feel like as we continue throughout the day. So by the time you get to about 2 o'clock, it's feeling like 14 in Boone, 37 in Morganton, and it really hasn't quite hit us around the Charlotte area. Still rocking either side of 60 degrees. Boy, does that change. By 6 o'clock, you're feeling like the mid to the upper 30s to the lower 40s. Freezing wind chills around the I-40 corridor, and 8. Just a single 8 around Boone, and we're even talking about negative value wind chills up in the high country, lower to the mid-20s going forward elsewhere. So where does that bring us as far as our highs, lows, and precipitation chances over the next 10 days? Our lows are going to still be chilly, but really not too bad compared to where we could be going. Since we've been so warm, this cool down isn't really anything too staggering, and that's going to keep things really above freezing starting off on Friday and beyond. And as far as our high temperatures are going, we will hit our bottom on Tuesday. We'll rebound into the mid to the upper 50s, so slightly below, above normal temperatures to kick off the new year before we're back to the upper 40s. By the way, this is what you should expect heading into the new year, either side of 50, back and forth with the occasional big run towards the 60s. As for the 70s, that was super rare. We're going to have to wait a little bit on that. Let's see how big the wait for your morning commute is with Megan Bragg.
Yeah, let's take a look at I-77 near Huntersville. You can see traffic is moving pretty smoothly, but there is some traffic in the area. As you are heading up towards Huntersville near Gilead Road, you are seeing that you're only going about 37 miles per hour. So lots of traffic in that area, but no incidents, which is something good. We have this Brookshire Boulevard crash between Caldwell Williams Road and Bellhaven Boulevard. Looking pretty clear though at the moment. So that is some good news. We're just watching that for now. And we also have this crash. Robinson Church Road Lane is a block between Harrisburg Road and Royal Carrington Drive. So you can see that icon there, but not slowing a lot of folks down. Overall looking pretty good across Charlotte. Lots of green. We've seen lots of green this morning, something we really like to see, but it is raining outside, so be aware of that. Take it slow if you do need to head out today. Guys?
At the story sprinkle time for our Carolina trivia, and it's all about the Cape Hatteras Light Station, the lighthouse out there. It's been there since 1870. By the way, this is the view of it right now, the way it looks. It's an amazing sight to see, and it's the tallest in the United States, second tallest lighthouse in the world. It's about 208 feet tall, made with 1,250,000 bricks back in 1870. Hey, that's the beacon that flashes out into the Atlantic Ocean, can be seen for 27 miles. by the way, was moved inland back in 1998, 1,500 feet. And the total number of steps, in case you want to walk to the top, is right at 257. That's the view of the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. It was moved this far inland from right on the beach, and we're afraid that, with some of the storms out there, it wouldn't be around much longer. And this is the way it looks right now. The Cape Hatteras Lighthouse out there in Buxton, North Carolina, on the Outer Banks. I'm Larry Sprinkle, and that's today's Carolina Trivia.
All right, Larry, thanks so much. Well, before we go, congratulations are in order. To whom you ask? Our very own Megan Bragg. Check it out. Put on your sunglasses.
Who is she?
Who is she?
I met her once at a party.
She looks vaguely familiar. Last week on Christmas Eve, Megan and her boyfriend, now fiance, Steven, got engaged. And of course, we all want to wish her a big congrats.
Thank you.
Look at that rock.
He did well.
He did do a good job.
Yes,
it's
he did.
Crazy that we're even saying that right now. I cannot believe I'm engaged, but
How does
no,
it feel?
it's awesome. We had the best time. It was Christmas Eve. We were in Florida. He did it on the beach, and then we met my family after. So wonderful, and I'm just, obviously very, very excited and very happy, and all the feels. Yeah.
Are you expecting it?
Okay, you already know this answer. They've been in. I'm like a reporter. What am I supposed to do, you guys?
Reporter.
Of course I knew it was coming.
But he did throw you for a loop.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. He did a good job.
Way to go, Steven.
That
I'm
was-
glad he did.
I'm so excited. I know I gave you a lot of flack over the last few weeks, but
He has.
it was like she was like Inspector Gadget over here trying to find out everything. And I'm like, let it be a surprise. Enjoy it.
Just let it be.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
We're
it was
excited for
great.
you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
best
so much.
wishes
We
to
love
our
your happiness,
dear
honey.
Megan.
All right, live pictures inside our live Impact studio. Jane Montreal taking over at the top of the hour. She'll have Kevin O'Connell, a Charlotte-based fire restoration expert, and much more. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everyone. This doesn't look like a pretty start of the day, does it? Those low-hanging clouds represent that rain is moving in. You might have some active rain right now. This is the way it's going to be for the rest of this morning. The high temperature, well, we're living it, y'all. Either side of 60 degrees right now, 64 even around Monroe. But once those winds shift, and we're already starting to see that, we're going to start to cool down. So likely our high temperature is going to be hit within the next hour or two, and then it'll start to settle out into the lower 60s. And then beyond that, we're expecting a big fall through the 50s by the end of the day. That means wind chills will be in the 30s to close out the day. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 70 forecast has the top today. This is the warmest air you're going to have for the foreseeable future, so enjoy it, even though it's not a great looking start. Sunshine tomorrow with temperatures in the 40s, starting off in the 20s for the last two mornings of 2025. All right, one last look at traffic with Megan Bragg.
Yeah, looking at those wet roads right now, this is a look at I-77 right near Huntersville, near Gilead exit right there. You can see traffic is moving, but we do have traffic in this area. You're only going about 37 miles per hour as you are heading up to Huntersville from the Queen City. It is raining out there, like Chris said, so just be careful and drive slow.